Hey, it's Jared Jones. Today we're going to talk about how much inflation is screwing up the housing market.
Inflation.
Go ahead, drop it like it's hot.
Inflation. It's hot. It's hot.
So Michelle, tell us about inflation. You were reading some news, right?
Yeah. The Fed is predicting that the annual inflation rate is at 1.5% in January. It's going to reach 2.4 by the end of the year, which is going to be up 1.8%. From its previous forecast. So what they thought was going to happen before is going to be worse, is what they're saying.
I don't agree. This is ridiculous, okay? So we know the Fed is very creative with how they measure inflation. Everything is inflating off the charts. Don't you have data on how fast building materials have gone up?
Yes.
I mean, that alone. You have gas going up, you have lumber going up. What was the date on that?
All right, so the crude oil, that's a starting point for paint and other drain pipes, roofing, shingles, flooring, it's shot up more than 80% just since October. Copper also has increased about a third more than it was just last fall. It's just causing the housing prices to just soar.
So 80% higher increase in, you said crude?
Yep.
So crude oil. So crude oil is needed for paints. You have that go 80%. You had lumber go up 170%. I think it was Forbes that put that out. Said that the lumber cost per house is like 23 grand higher to construct a home. Okay, so we have massive multiples of increase inflation on these items. Okay? How are we hitting 2.5% on inflation measured by the Fed by the end of the year? I mean, food is skyrocketing, gas at the pump is skyrocketing. It doesn't make sense to me. So, one of the realities, one of my buddies posted on his Facebook timeline, and he talked about the fact that we're seeing inflation to the max, and that is what is causing all the supply chain shortage. He's saying the ultimate problem with the real estate market is that prices are going so fast, it has nothing to do with the actual availability of homes more than it has to do with how we're affecting the dollar. So we're printing cash, we're trashing the dollar by basically funneling cash into the monetary supply. The Fed is saying we're going to keep the pedal down. We're going to allow inflation to become rampant as a model of how we're going to run things now. Which, if you're watching, that means that there's no shift in sight. Okay? So you have supply chain shortages. They're happening. They're epic. Yeah, even the automobile industry. I heard some of these cars aren't being produced right now because they can't get certain parts. So they just stop making a Dodge of some type brand. Okay? And so, the premise is, it's the monetary policy, it's the creation of rampant inflation. It is really scary, okay? So it is interesting to note, we have, I forgot the guy, Jerome Powell, I think his name is. You could read some of the things that he's pushed in the news. They've basically said, we're just gonna keep the pedal down for several years. You're already seeing the effects of that, okay? So it is, it's interesting to see what happens. It's like, will housing prices escalate ongoing? Even at the face of some interest rate increase, some trickling up of interest rate, even they're getting more negative, will that really affect or slow down the buyers that are actually buying up houses?
Buying or selling a home in Central Florida is expensive. The Jones Group leverages the latest technology and passes the savings on to you. List your home for just 1%. Buying a home, get $7,000 cash rebate before close. Make one call, that's all. Better service, lower fees.